Have you ever felt like you were being blessed beyond measure, and yet wondered, what do I do with all of this? How do I steward what God has given me wisely? A few years ago, I experienced a season of overflow. God was blessing me in ways I hadn't expected, but with those blessings came new responsibilities. I found myself asking, how do I honor God with all this? How do I stay faithful to Him and not let the blessings distract me from the one who gives them? That season reminded me of the story of Joseph in Genesis. Joseph, like many of us, experienced seasons of scarcity and seasons of overflow.
We're taking a
And
test.
his story is a powerful lesson in how to be wise with what God entrusts to us. Not too long ago, I was working on a project that began to flourish in ways I hadn't imagined. Opportunities, resources, and partnerships began pouring in. I was grateful, but I also felt overwhelmed. I found myself journaling late one night saying, Lord, how do I handle all of this? I don't want to waste or misuse what you've given me. As I prayed, God brought me to the story of Joseph. It was as though he whispered, look at how Joseph handled both famine and abundance. Learn from his faithfulness and stewardship. Joseph's story begins in Genesis 37, where he is sold into slavery by his own brothers. Despite his hardships, God's hand was on him. In Egypt, Joseph rose to prominence, becoming the overseer of Potiphar's household. Later, after being falsely accused and imprisoned, Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams and was elevated to second in command over all of Egypt. Pharaoh's dreams revealed 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. Genesis 41:25-32. Joseph didn't just celebrate the coming abundance, he immediately went to work on a plan. He advised Pharaoh to store up a portion of the harvest during the years of plenty so that Egypt could survive the years of famine. Joseph's wisdom not only saved Egypt, but also provided for surrounding nations and his own family, who came seeking help during the famine. When Pharaoh asked Joseph to interpret his dreams, Joseph replied, I cannot do it, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. Genesis 41:16. Joseph never took credit for his wisdom or success. He knew that every blessing, every bit of abundance came from God. In our own seasons of overflow, we must remain humble and give credit where it's due. During the 7 years of abundance, Joseph didn't squander the harvest. He stored 20% of the grain in preparation for the famine. Genesis 41:48-49. How often do we treat seasons of plenty as though they will last forever? Joseph's example teaches us to be diligent stewards, setting aside resources and using them wisely for future needs. When famine struck, Egypt wasn't just prepared for itself, it became a beacon of hope for surrounding nations. Joseph's wisdom turned a season of abundance into a lifeline for countless people. When God blesses us, it's not just for our benefit. He blesses us so that we can bless others. Proverbs 11:25 says, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Abundance can test our character as much as scarcity. Joseph stayed faithful to God throughout his journey, from the pit to the palace. He never let his position or wealth turn his heart away from God. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, but remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Joseph's story is a reminder that seasons of overflow are not just about receiving, they're about managing, preparing, and giving. The same God who provides the overflow also gives us the wisdom to use it for His glory. So I ask you today, how are you handling your overflow? Are you storing, sharing, and stewarding it wisely? Let's close with a prayer. Lord, thank you for the blessings you pour into our lives. Teach us to be wise stewards, to honor you in seasons of abundance, and to use our overflow to bless others. May we always remember that you are the source of every good thing, so be it. Take time to reflect on the blessings in your life, your overflow. Write down one way you can better steward those blessings this week, whether by saving, giving, or planning for the future. Remember, the wisdom of Joseph is available to us when we seek God's guidance. Hallelujah! 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 Send this message to someone that may need it, and we will see you all next time.